Good afternoon and thank you for joining us, Mr. Sanit Vijayaratna, the Director of the Carbon Consulting Company, and Mr. Suraj Valyarachi, the Head of Technical and Project Development, to gain more insights on the first ever Zero Carbon Presidential Election campaign. According to you, what motivated or encouraged the President to advise for a Zero Carbon Presidential Election campaign, as you think?
So, since our for more than a decade or two, we have seen all these campaigns have been using highly polluting stuff, like polythene, then loudspeakers, and all the each individual are coming in individual vehicles. So all these campaigns ending up in a lot of waste being released to the environment. So having seen that, and the expert panel who was advising the then candidate thought, okay, let's do something different. Let's give a good example for the community. Let's make a change in this presidential campaign. That is why they started up with a tree planting program using minimum waste and those initiatives. Then to make it validated and to make it secure, then the kind of decision was made. Okay, let's calculate our emission, right? You quantify the impact you put on the environment, and let's make it a zero. So that is the start of this for us to lead into world's first zero carbon presidential campaign.
What was the procedure in taking the GHG emissions assessment? Could you explain the process and what were the emission sources considered?
Okay, so that's a very technical question. But let me summarize this. Globally, there's a global protocol called the Greenhouse Gas Protocol. That's worldwide. That is the accepted standard of how to measure what is called carbon footprint. There is also ISO that governs the calculation and declaration of carbon emissions of an event or a person or a company. So what we did was we looked at the campaign elements, things like transport, waste that was generated on site, electricity, the sources of electricity, and a few other things like that, but mainly those. We made sure that everything that we did was according to the global protocol, because we wanted to make sure that it would stand scrutiny by the rest of the world. This is something of international importance. So we wanted to make sure that the campaign that was carried out and the calculations were carried out were up to the world standard. So primarily we looked at the emissions from energy at the locations, transport for the people as well as the candidate and the staff. We looked at the waste and the disposal, water consumption and the disposal, and there was no disposal of plastic because there were no plastic water bottles and so on and so forth. So those were the primary sources, but there were a few others that we looked at, and we made sure that it stuck to the global protocols.
So by carrying out a zero carbon presidential election campaign, could you, Mr. Suraj, explain us the emissions reduced and the harm it prevented?
Right. So first of all, when you plan this, when they planned each campaign, each meeting, number one was not using polythene. These banners, everything were made of cloth. So there is no polythene or plastic that was thrown out the air. And when we use the term is called carpooling. So instead of each person using multiple cars, transportation was there, whereas many people were using one vehicle. Thereby you are reducing the carbon dioxide emissions. And at each campaign there were tree planting programs. In parallel to all of these, there were tree planting programs in each location. And when it comes to posters, so there was a minimum number of the vision of the president was you should not use any posters for those campaigns. So by all these collectively, a lot of emissions were reduced. And at the end of each meeting, a team of young and dynamic people from the event campaign participants collected the waste and properly disposed those.
So, Mr. Sani, could you explain us the aim of the Carbon Consulting Company and the Sustainable Future Group, about you and your company, and how it got involved in validating this process?
Okay, so a little bit about us. We are, I think, one of South Asia's leading advisory bodies dealing with carbon emissions and carbon reduction. We are just over 10 years old, and while we work here, Suraj and my team, they work in Laos, Myanmar, Thailand, Oman, India, so we work in the South Asian region a lot. Our expertise is in carbon footprinting. That's what Carbon Consulting Company, it's very easy. We have a 10-year history of working with some of the best private sector companies and industries in Sri Lanka and some of them in the region to track their carbon emissions and to help them reduce it. And Suraj leads a team of people who are helping develop forestry and other projects to reduce carbon emissions. We were consulted by the President's team, as Suraj mentioned, he has an expert team of leading academics and highly skilled people who had started the campaign with the correct aim. But they wanted to ensure that the claim that we made to have measured and reduced our carbon emissions was credible. So typically in Sri Lanka, for example, a lot of people plant a tree and think that's fine. It doesn't work like that. A tree has to grow for 15 years before it starts to reduce carbon emissions. So we wanted to make sure that we were able to assist the then candidate to validate what his team was doing. So our team from CCC, we evaluated the calculations, we checked the data, we made sure that it is aligned with the correct global protocols, that it had taken the correct emission sources, that the data was, the claims were validated with data, we checked some of the data, we checked the calculations, and we came to a final calculation that said, after reducing all the activities that you mentioned before, after that reduction took place, the campaign, which was so many events, had emitted, I think, 2,088 tons of greenhouse gases. And we were able to substantiate that. But in order to, again, make sure that anywhere in the world you could stand up and say, we've had this independently validated, we consulted a separate company called the Sustainable Future Group. The Sustainable Future Group has been accredited by the Sri Lankan Standards Board.
Sri Lankan Accreditation
Board, sorry, Sri Lankan Accreditation Board, to verify and certify the carbon footprint emissions of companies under the ISO 14064. I think they were one of the first in the region to get this accreditation. So what we did was, Suraj and his team, after calculating the carbon emissions, they facilitated the retirement, what we call it, retirement of 2088 registered carbon credits to compensate for the unavoidable emissions that were generated by the campaign. Because as you know, you can reduce to a certain point, for example, but you have to have some vehicles doing some energy. So in order to compensate for this, you do an activity that is going to reduce the greenhouse gases. Now, the instrument for that is called a carbon credit or a certified emissions reduction certificate. We ensured that the campaign had reduced their footprint and then compensated for that footprint through the retirement of registered emission reduction certificates, and these certificates have been registered by the UN. It's on the UN registry, so it's globally accepted. And we brought in the Sustainable Future Group to independently validate our calculations, verify that we have retired the required number of credits, and we showed them all the evidence. They checked all that, And the certificate that you see His Excellency now have has been issued by the Sustainable Future Group. So which is as I said again, independently accredited to certify this, that the campaign has measured everything that is necessary to be measured, and the measurement has been carried out independently and verified independently. And the reduction of the carbon footprint through these emission reduction certificates has been carried out and has completely compensated for the emissions of the campaign.
So, Mr. Suraj, how do you explain the project led by the President Nida Hussain Usman contributed to this lake?
Right. So, when we calculate the emissions, you get some certain amount of emissions. Now, we have retired the equal number of carbon credits to make it a zero carbon presidential campaign. But through the Nida Hussain Usman project, there was a tree planting program that ensured 26,000 trees were put on the ground by a large group of people, local communities, all kind of religious leaders, everyone got together and planted these trees. So the importance of this, like over and above that credits that were retired to make this campaign zero carbon neutral, these 26,000 trees over a 15 to 20 years period will absorb more carbon and create actually a climate positive impact. So these trees will continue to absorb carbon and create a very unique kind of a project that has not been done across the world before.
Because in addition to, as you said, retiring the carbon, carbon zero, over the next 15 years there will be additional reductions. So more than what is required. Far more than, it's almost double. Almost double the carbon needed to be retired would have been retired over the next 10 years when you look at the trees.
So, as you raise this as a global matter, as you know, there are a lot of environmental issues going on in this country and also in many other countries. So, as a developing country, apart from all these first world countries, Sri Lanka has taken its initiative in receiving its first ever zero carbon presidential election campaign.
You know, the greenhouse gases are being emitted by the developed countries, but they are not the ones suffering. If you look at the countries that are most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, it's the developing nations. And we are, because where we live, our populations are rural and poor, we are very dependent on agriculture, lots of issues arise which are harmful to us. We keep looking at the West and telling them you all should do these corrective actions, but they are not doing it enough. Given that context, and given that we as a developing country are the ones who are facing these problems, it is very encouraging to see that the leadership of the country is setting the tone by saying we are going to take a firm stand on climate change. And we are taking a stand that involves not only the correct plan with the correct advisors, but we are also doing something to compensate for everything that we've done, and we are doing it to the global standards. So it is very encouraging for me that this example has been set, and we hope that the institutions and the companies and the citizens of the country are going to follow this example. Not only just planting trees, which we do a lot of, but doing all those other things that we really require them to do. And I think His Excellency has set a fantastic example, which many others can emulate, and we hope they do so.
So, is there anything you want to add apart from all these sections?
I think we have covered everything. But the most important thing is that this initiative is done for the first time in the world. We've heard that there are other political parties, political events that started to go as carbon neutral, but we haven't got any recorded things that these projects, those campaigns, retired credits or did kind of a tree planting program.
And we look very hard.
We look very hard. So for to our best knowledge, this is the first time President neutralized his carbon and ensured that tree planting was done as well. So we find it a very unique opportunity for us to make a kind of set an example.
Thank you both for joining us.